Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Let me get up the stream on my phone so I can keep track. Chat. Alrighty. Let me post the announcement to let people know that I'm live. Don't know how many people we'll get today. This isn't like one of my normal streams. It's something a little different. I have a character on Tom's to show you that's really dumb. Okay, Silva. Okay. I have let people know the stream is live. Hello? There's my model. Okay. So I updated some stuff with the model in order to get the graphics where I wanted it to. Plus 25 to initiative. That's impressive. I'm presuming some kind of rogue. Also, what do you think of the new background? I might have to re-record my intro video. So, the old background was one that just kind of came with my computer. I can't remember what piece of software it came with. It was one of my, I think it was one of my photo editors or whatever. But I realized that I didn't know whether or not I had the rights to use that image on my streams. So I went to a free stock image website where you can get copyright free images that you can use on streams and stuff, and I just searched for a starry field, and this is what I came up with, and I think it looks pretty nice. So yeah. Also, probably, I don't know how that all works. Also, I updated the hair a little bit. Can you see the yellow parts on the hair now? You know, I'll take it. I'll take it. It's something different. Before, the hair was kind of like fading out of existence, and it was partially transparent, and I wasn't super thrilled about that. Should review the character on screen. That's not what we're doing tonight. Why does your character have plus 25 initiative? I'm presuming you did something really OP in some kind of a power build. All right. I will review your character on stream. I will look at your character on stream before we get started with my thing, on the condition you have to share your character's story with us, since today is a stream where we're swapping story ideas. That's the condition. You have to share your character's story with us. Oh, so it's Tom's character. Keenan's. Oh, okay. I just reread what you originally posted, that it's not your character, it's Tom's character. So, of course he would. Of course he would. But do you have a link to that character? I'm just dropping ideas. He may be a replacement for my monk in the Tuesday campaign. Ooh, okay. Well, I mean, if you haven't completed the story yet, you can definitely share what ideas you've got kicking around in your head. I'm definitely excited to hear what you're working on. So the second part of the campaign takes place in the Undermountain of Waterdeep. I was thinking maybe he was banished or something to stay in there, despite having every reason to hate the law. Ooh. That looks like it could be nice and spicy. So what race is that character? Like what people are they from that would have banished them to being in the Undermountain of Waterdeep? He's a dragonborn, so a dragonborn society banished him to the Undermountain of Waterdeep. Okay. What is... So, dragonborn is always a volatile question. Okay, that's fair. So, dragonborn is always a volatile question in D&D because in the player's handbook, they're described as these dragon humans, right? These reptilian humans that aren't half dragons, but they do have some kind of draconic heritage, right? But then in the Guide to Dragons, that's an officially released book, Wizards explain this extremely complicated and intense backstory for Dragonborn that, like, most DMs have never heard of because it was only explained in that Guide to Dragons, and most DMs just ignore it, which is a shame because it's really interesting. But I think that if they were gonna have this like intense and deeply like powerful story driving the characters of the Dragonborn, there should have been some hint to it in the player's handbook. The player's handbook should have not given them such a generic description. You know what I mean? Because I think didn't I like send you a link to a video that broke down the official backstory about the Dragonborn? It was like what they don't tell you about the Dragonborn. Okay, so basic story, the plane that the Forgotten Realms exists on is actually one half of what used to be a larger plane, and the other plane that got separated, I know one of them is known as Aber, and one of them is known as Toro. I don't remember which one's which, but one of them was ruled by the gods, and the other was ruled by the primordials. But on the one ruled by the primordials, the dragons eventually killed the primordials. And then because there was no war between Tiamat and Bahamut to make the dragons destroy each other, the dragons came to rule everything. And the Dragonborn eventually came to be as slaves of the dragons. And there was a situation whenever I believe it was the goddess of magic, of the weave, was slain, and a new, in the time it took for a new god to ascend to take over that, not folder, that, what's it called? What is it the gods have? It's not folder, but it means something similar to folder. Whatever. Anyway, that ideal of magic, continents, and well, not continents, but huge sections of land, even I believe an entire country, between Aber and Toro switched places, and an entire country of free Dragonborn just warped into our world. And Dragonborn hate dragons. Because they were slaves of dragons for so long. And you wouldn't get any of that. There's no reference to any of that in the player's handbook. Yeah. It's one of the things where they have like the lore spread apart in so many different individual books. I'm hoping with this one D&D initiative that they put more of the actual like lore that they've been squirreling away in random books in the actual player's handbook. But again, the thing about D&D is that it's a combined storytelling experience in which the DM and the players work together to create a unique story. And as the DM is the arbiter of the rules and the base creator of the world, the DM gets to decide what is and isn't a part of their world. And that entire aberratorial backstory with the different worlds and the primordials and the gods and that history of the Dragonborn gets largely ignored by a large portion of the D&D fan base because it's so different from what's in the player's handbook. So most people just run Dragonborns as we're long distant descendants of dragons and humans. Or they'll run Dragonborns as half dragons without tails and with a limited breath weapon. I've played a character like that. My Minecraft character I played in one of the seasons I did when we did an SMP was a character like that, a dragon whose father was a very brave knight. SMP is a survival multiplayer. Minecraft SMP is survival multiplayer. It's when a bunch of people are playing on the same server together, creating a lot of times when you hear about SMPs, they're creating content, having shared storytelling experiences, or going on adventures together. I did. No dragon maids, Nekomaji. Nice to see you though. I'm glad you're here, Nekomaji. I actually really think that you'll have some great contributions for tonight's stream. Yes, it is the Nabiru. I love how, like, you made a joke about being called Nabiru, and that has just become your official name. But you'll always be Nekomaji to me. That's actually really funny. Didn't everyone have Edo Pro first? Isn't that like the dueling online or something? The precursor to Master Duel that was like a fan run game? Oh, Duel Network was first. Okay. It's not Duel Book. Okay. It was fan made and it was great. Okay. I always wondered, Duel Book Network was so, had people in there thought, okay, but like there are people who play the actual game that think MST negates. So you could even call cards something else to proxy anime cards. Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, in that way, it was kind of like the real game, because when you play the real game, there is no supernatural entity that forces your cards to execute their proper effect. But it says my MST destroys your spell card. If I destroy your spell card before it resolves, then the effect must be negated. So what was Edo Pro? Was it like Electronic Duel Online? What's the Edo stand for? An online system you download. Oh, that sounds interesting. A better download client where card rules are are enforced. Okay. It has all the cards for free. You just connect to others in Duel. Oh. So instead of connecting to the server of Dueling Network or Duel Book or whatever, you would connect directly to another person. No animation, so it's not a big file. Oh, okay. It also automatically activates things, which can annoy people because it was always ask if you want to chain. Isn't that also a thing that people complain about with Master Duel? That it's always like, do you want to respond if you have like a Ash Blossom or something in your hand? I saw someone did a video. I think it was everything, even if you can't activate it. Yeah, that's true. Like you can't win them all with that kind of a setup, so it is what it is. To toggle off that, but it toggles off chaining completely. Ooh, that all or nothing play sounds kind of rough. Yeah, and chaining is kind of a big part of the game. Yeah, it doesn't. I know someone, it might have been Team APS or somebody else, did a meme duel where they found that like there's like I think it's like you can't have a chain link longer than 30 or something. It was some ridiculous number that you can't have a chain link longer than that. Oh, that's funny. It was a huge number. Okay. It was some kind of ridiculous number. They had to build a deck and organize. They had to build a special deck and have a specially constructed duel just to hit that limit. Where basically every card in the deck would try to activate on the same chain. Did anyone else see that video, or am I just imagining things? Oh, that's funny, Nekomaji. Okay, all right. So I didn't just imagine it. Okay. That's good. I'll take it. I'll take it. What do you mean a slow equip, Nekomachi? I think I need some elaboration on that. Moon Mirror Shield equips to a Mon. If it attacks, equip Mon's attack equals the target's attack plus 100 during damage. Okay. If you use a card to lower my attack, a Moon Mirror will bring it back up to the plus 100. Like, but isn't that a thing that if something modifies your attack points and then something else modifies it again or drops it or something, it will just go back? Okay. That's interesting. I'm not sure if that's a bug or a feature, Nekomaji. I have no intention of playing Master Duel, Silva. Oop. Hey, Okusen. All right, so we have been goofing around for the last 30 minutes, chit-chatting about stuff as I shared the stream and all that. So I think it's about time for us to get started, and I have some stuff to show to you. Those of you who've been active in my Discord know some of what I'm going to talk about today. But considering the fact that I haven't gotten any feedback when I shared this in the Discord, I don't think anyone actually read it, so I wanted to share it, see what chat had to say, and see if chat thought any of my ideas were good or if all of my ideas were just terrible. So we are going to jump on over to another screen. That is not the right one. Let me just adjust that. Okay, so let me go here. This is a fantasy plot generator. Oh, this is a plot generator. It can generate fantasy, drama, mystery, romance, or sci-fi. And it has randomly generated things that fill in on these different entries to give you a generic plot to work with, right? And then this is a random book title generator. Generates, and these are all hosted on the same website. On my Discord, I have pinned links to both of these in the writer's corner section of the Discord. And I ran through this, and I got the random title, Halcyon Avenging, and the description I got was, it's a cyberpunk story about overcoming totalitarianism. It kicks off in the year 4001 with news of the impending apocalypse, with a note that someone in the story is running from something in the past, and there's a twist. It actually all took place in the past. The protagonist is an airship pilot who is careful, and the secondary character is an air pirate who can be found at the pub. This was the prompt I got. So, let me show you what Halcyon means, because I didn't know what that meant. It does sound like a manga plot. So, Halcyon, the primary meaning is that as an adjective, it denotes a period of time in the past that was idyllically happy or peaceful. It can also be used as a noun to refer to a tropical Asian and African kingfisher with brightly colored plumage, or a mythical bird said by ancient writers to breed in a nest floating at sea at the winter solstice, charming the wind and waves into a calm. So that is the meaning of Halcyon. The name is too short. Ah, good point, Nekomaji. Title. Yes, those good old Halcyon days. So, I got this idea of what if we use Halcyon for its adjective to refer to a period of time that was idyllic, and we say that before the current time, there were idyllic days of past that I wanted to be an airship pilot, but I was called upon to avenge the Halcyon instead. Oh, that's actually funny. I was thinking, so this can work on multiple levels, right? If we refer to Halcyon as the days of the past, that the great days of the past that the totalitarian regime took away, and that this person is avenging those lost days. But also, Halcyon can refer to a mythical bird, so Halcyon can just be the name of the airship pilot's ship. It can just be called the Halcyon. You see how that works? Yes, it could also be an evolution. It would have to be a flying type evolution. Gosh, what would a flying type evolution even look like? Oh, you like that idea, Nekomaji? Google Images has plenty of those? Okay. Ah, ears are wings. That's a good one, Nekomaji. That's a good one. Actually, I might make note of that and have that. Let me just make a note of that. I might have a beast that looks like that as kind of a mascot or pet of the main character's ship. So then I took some notes. I had a bunch of notes that kind of went all over the place. but then I refined it into a story. Well, not a story, I guess more of an outline. That I'm going to share with you all. Okay. So, bear with me. I'm going to read this. It's not very long. And I'm going to share with you what I have so far. We can brainstorm ideas if some of you have ideas to improve or change, or if you all think that what I have so far sounds really dumb, just let me know. Anyway. Dude, let's get started. 20 years before the start of the story, the world was ruled by a peaceful and idyllic society that sought to create a completely waste-free society. They developed algae-based technology that could power devices made out of completely biodegradable materials. All the trash and non-biodegradable materials, the pollution, and everything else from the previous ages of humanity had long since been destroyed or processed into a biodegradable form, so nothing was left to pollute this idyllic world. This world had only one continent, and everyone who lived on it lived peaceful and fulfilling lives. The government sought to protect personal freedom above all else. Those freedoms were supported by powerful social programs that ensured the weakest of society were cared for in a respectful and healthy manner. In this society, no one wanted for anything, food was free, and shelter could be grown from special trees. Society sought out art and personal expression. The goal of society was self-actualization. So that's setting up, so those are the halcyon days. Those are the great glory days of the past that starts 20 years before the start of the story. Okay. Then someone wanted more. A group of business owners believed that everyone having everything they needed was stopping society from developing and that humanity had stagnated. They rallied around a charismatic figure known only as the Revolutionary, who eventually led a violent revolution that overthrew the peace-loving government and installed a new government that desired scarcity, believing that depriving some people of the necessities of life would motivate them to develop new things and ideas, pushing humanity forward. So that's the fall of those halcyon days. After the revolution, the Revolutionary disappeared, fading into an urban legend with no records or pictures left of them. Some paintings or statues were made in their honor, but they were guesses from secondhand accounts and often disagreed on details. It was good that they disappeared, as the true nature of the government was revealed very early in the new regime. They only wanted society to move forward so they could have even more than the others. They wanted others to have less so that they could have more. The Revolutionary very quickly went from being hailed as a hero of a new age to being reviled as a villain that ended the halcyon days of peace and freedom. Now 20 years have passed and it's the year 4001, and the Revolutionary is just a boogeyman used to scare children or remind others of the good days that have now passed. But for all the evil that the new government has accomplished, science has developed at a breakneck pace. New discoveries were fueled by the new needs of a world that now wanted for a great many things, but many feared what the future would bring. The algae-based power generation had a hard cap on how much power could produce per unit of algae. As new devices required more and more power, they became bulkier and bulkier, needing more and more algae tanks. This caused researchers to fear that one day they would run out of ways to effectively power their society. Now, the government has made an announcement. They have decided that humanity has reached a dead end and that all life on the planet has become a complete waste of space. They are going to detonate a bomb using a new kind of radiation that will vaporize all animal life and reduce all their technology to its raw algae form. They are planning to end the end of all intelligent life. In response to this announcement, someone known as the airship pilot steps up to lead a rebellion. The rebellion is formed from different rebel groups that had been actively resisting the regime thus far. They are working together to try to slow down the development of this bomb, running attacks on research facilities and raiding supply convoys. They hope to eventually launch an attack on the central building of the government, overthrowing them and avenging the lost halcyon days of the previous age. The government does get wind of this rebellion. To combat them and stop the attacks, the government finds the pirate. The pirate is an air pirate that raids shipments and kidnaps people for profit. They are known for being dangerous and for keeping a crew of deadly and immoral people. The government knows that the pirate used to be the revolutionary and threatens to reveal that knowledge if the pirate doesn't help them. The pirate doesn't want to live in a world where technology has reached a dead end and to have to deal with the hatred of all of humanity. Pirate agrees to help the government, but only because they agree that humanity has reached a dead end. They use their contacts to convince a team of researchers to develop a single-celled organism that will evade the destruction of the government's bomb. This special organism will be specially designed to start the evolutionary chain that will one day lead to the re-emergence of humanity. The airship pilot tries and fails to convince the pirate to join them. The pirate doesn't even try to convince the airship pilot, having accepted that they will never agree on this. The pirate sees too much of themselves in the airship pilot. They are every bit the motivated revolutionary that the pirate had been in their youth. They cross paths multiple times. The airship pilot's careful tactical mind proves an even match for the pirate's experienced prowess. The airship pilot succeeds just as much as the pirate drives them off. The airship pilot is always careful to avoid government surveillance and keep their headquarters on the move to avoid capture. Eventually, the bomb is completed and the day of the detonation arrives. The bomb will be detonated at the central government building at the center of the continent. The airship pilot leads one final all-or-nothing attack on the location. It's a brutal battle, and both sides are evenly matched. In an uncharacteristic act of desperation, the airship pilot tries to ram their airship into the bomb platform, trying to prevent the detonation, or at least contain it somehow. As the countdown ticks down, the airship pilot looks like they're about to succeed when the pirate rams their airship into theirs from the side, deflecting them away from the bomb. The last thing the pirate says as they stop the airship pilot's charge is, "Don't worry, humanity will live again, and this time they won't go down a dead end, I promise it." And then the bomb goes off, wiping out all animal life and reducing all technology to algae, all except the single-celled organism the pirate has prepared for this. The explosion rocked the surface of the Earth and destabilized the tectonic plates, causing them to slowly drift apart, eventually arriving at the familiar shape we know today. The algae left behind from their technology would eventually become fossilized and become the fossil fuels we use today. Their technological wonders literally fueling a society that would eventually surpass them and develop new technologies that will never reach a dead end. Yeah, okay. So that's what I have so far. Because I really like that twist, that idea that this 4,000-year-old society that we're learning about in the story actually took place in the ancient past. So I did a little research on extinction events in Earth history. And I learned that there was something called the Permian-Triassic extinction event, which is where nobody knows exactly what happened, but a lot of people think that a group of underwater volcanoes went off that caused a chain reaction that killed almost all life on planet Earth. Sounds like a really good backstory for a setting. Reminds me a lot of one I made, though mine was far shorter. Oh, really? What? Can you give me a quick, snippet about what your setting was like? So there's not a whole lot of information about the Permian-Triassic extinction event, except that it killed more than 50% of all life on the planet. And that there was not really any coal produced from the time that it happened, and it happened right around the time when the supercontinent Pangaea separated. So in case you didn't notice, the idea I'm going with is that their society takes place on the single massive supercontinent that we would call Pangea, but they'll call it something else, right? And because they're taking place in the ancient past, fossil fuels haven't had time to develop yet, so they don't have fossil fuels. So they would have kind of this like almost steampunky technology, and I was thinking like all of their stuff be like plant or organic based. It's always fun when you have a mysterious villain and idiotic greed. Yes, that is always fun. I also like the idea that like the protagonist loses technically. This idea of mine was more fantasy, violent, but not a full life form nuke like that. Oh, okay. Yeah, the idea that like the protagonist, for all of their protagonist superpowers, right? They still lose. And in this story, the young protagonist who's so careful and tactical and experienced and talented is squaring off with the pirate who was a young, capable, charismatic revolutionary, but is now an old, experienced, and capable warrior. Fantasy world where you lose your connection to magic because of one person's greed. Ooh, that's fun. So, okay. That's the quickest synopsis. That definitely sounds interesting. So like, is your story about someone trying to regain their connection to magic, or is the story about the loss of magic? I like making backstories, not full-on stories. Okay. Oh, okay. So it's just, so that whole thing about losing the connection to magic is just part of the backstory of the character, or of the setting. The world dealing with having lost that connection to magic. All living people lose it, but animals, plants don't. They're still magic items. Oh. So then all magic becomes scarce. Or, I mean, could you make magical items out of animals or plants? Could you make like potions and stuff out of magical plants? Or would it lose the magic as soon as you cut it from the vine? Ah, okay. Oh, really, Okusen? Let me please be sure to please feel free to share that. I'm very curious what you've come up with. Oh, okay. No problem, Hokusen. I didn't mean to put you out there. So imagine being an OP protagonist, but now you're stuck using a weak item without being able to mold or use magic yourself. Ooh, that's rough. Your descendants are the same. It affects the very genes and not the kind of jeans you wear on your pants. I mean, you wear as... Okay, that joke was going somewhere, but it just kind of got away from me. Hmm. So I had another batch of ideas, right? Because I wanted to develop something I haven't seen before. And let me know if you've seen any examples for this, because I really need references. So something like steampunk, but plant powered, where like they have solar panels that are made out of leaves, wires or different kinds of plant stems that are sending signals, computer screens or bioluminescent algae of different colors, buildings grown from different special trees. Their insulation is densely packed leaves and branches. Computers run on some special kind of solar energy and are made from interconnected plants that store data on a cellular level. All chemical production and refinement is done via special bred plants. Maybe do Wi-Fi done via pheromones? Not sure about that one. Power stored in bottles of algae supercharged with solar energy. So those are some ideas I'm throwing around right now. We're trying to develop this kind of like, I guess, green punk, plant punk kind of thing. Yes. That's what I'm kicking around. Like the original prompt did say for it to be cyberpunk, but I am taking liberties because this is my story. So I'm taking liberties with the prompt, and I'm making it kind of, I guess, biotech fantasy works. I'm trying to nail that down. Yes, Silva, it's my story. Yes. You're right. Biotech fantasy doesn't feel exactly right because I want there to be some of these tropes of your standard like steampunk or cyberpunk kind of thing, but I want them all to be plant-based. So the idea I'm running with here. Yes, Silva. What is it? What you got? You got something? You got something to contribute? Easiest to make a majority of the tech. You've heard, if you can think of anywhere, because Nekomaji, this is why I'm actually really glad you're here, because I know you have experience with a lot of different genres. So if you have any Any references whatsoever that might be helpful, I would greatly appreciate them. Silva, it might be easiest to make a majority of the text steam and plant-based and not have metallurgy. Yes, that's actually one of the things I was working with, was because so my idea is, if this is taking place in the extreme past, right? That everything in their world is biodegradable. And then without humanity there, all of their stuff just falls apart. And not a lot of people know this, but most of the fossil fuels we have today are made from ancient algae deposits that were spread all across the world. Also, different types of plants and stuff make up most of the fossil fuels we have today. Ooh. So maybe the okay. I guess that works. I wanted there to be a technological aspect to it. Kinda like it's still in the formative stages. Ooh. The difference between magic and tech is magic uses energy, tech uses data, life uses cells. Data can be solid in some stories. So all of the things would be some kind of thing where the data is stored at a cellular level in special plants, which would give the data the solid component. But there's also this other aspect that I want for their plant tech, their biotech or whatever. I want there to be a limit to what they can do. Some kind of point where they reach that they just cannot develop any further, and the government would determine that humanity had reached a dead end. Seems magical with cells or data as you can't naturally see it, so you can easily say it's what you want. Interesting. Well, the biggest technological aspects. Ooh, really? That's interesting. I was actually getting to that part. The biggest technological aspects of the story are going to be these massive airships that are used for transporting goods between different parts of the supercontinent. Because since it's one giant continent, it's not going to make sense to sail around the continent, so they would have developed airships to sail through the sky across the continent. Maybe no pyrotech, like guns, rockets, grenades. Ooh, okay. They could have like harpoons or like crossbows. It's a techie plant. It's all. Leave it to the imagination. That's interesting. So like there's no gunpowder. But okay, so like I was tinkering around with this idea, right? Because photosynthesis takes in carbon dioxide, processes it with energy from sunlight, and releases oxygen. So this is an idea I was tinkering with, that like different plants could be bred to photosynthesize to produce different gases or chemicals. So maybe like a plant ooh, okay, hold on. I'm having an idea here. So like their guns or their weapons could be like a plant that combines certain chemicals that very rapidly expand explosively when combined. Yes, you can turn plants into fuel. And the idea, so for the first part of the story, right? I want it to seem like you're on an alien world. Oh. What have you got, Nekomaji? Come on. Bring the goods. But yeah, so the main technology is going to be their information technology for like their computers and stuff, since it's going to be a totalitarian government that's going to collect information and have some kind of observation technology, because that's a kind of a thing for totalitarian governments. A horror comedy movie series. Ooh, that sounds a little bit bizarre. So observation stuff, information tech, and airships, and some basic weapons. So like I'm thinking maybe two chemicals combine in the explosion chamber that cause an explosive reaction or expansion, and that launches a projectile out the tube. Let me make a note of this. Let me move this so you can actually see what I'm writing. I don't know where to stick this notepad. There we go. You kill the creature by stabbing them with flaming spikes and things to cause their liquids to explode inside them rather than outside. Interesting. Interesting. So I guess I could have the plants releasing some kind, instead of just explosive expansion, could just have them releasing some kind of a liquid that ignites the oxygen released by the plants. Yes, that's one of the ideas I'm dealing with on this, Okusen. And you know what? It's okay. I appreciate you being here. Okay, so that is a thing. Science fiction has made living things releasing liquids that can combine, ignite, and so on. Okay. All right, information tech. Also, if you want living things that make explosives that do not auto-ignite, there is one. Bakugo of My Hero. He releases nitroglycerin, which... How is nitroglycerin... Hold on. I'm afraid if I research how nitroglycerin is made, it's going to put me on some kind of watch list. I swear it's first story. I swear it's first story. Nitroglycerin like sweat. Okay. Hmm. There's already tons of biological detection methods that we use in IRL science and engineering. That's true. Hmm, interesting. Okay. Plants release two chemicals that react when combined to create an explosive force that launches a projectile. Like nitroglycerin. Okay. It doesn't ignite, it just bursts and releases a lot of force. Doctor Who, when they had those bio trees, I think it was in the Flesh and Stone episode. Ooh, that could be a good one. It'd be cool to have weapons that are alive too, just to really push the theme. Ooh, so you're thinking like their weapons are actually like multiple plants that are still alive combined together? That so my idea for power source that I was working with was having algae store some kind of like some kind of algae supercharged with a lot of solar energy, i.e. a lot of photosynthesis happening, and then you would have a tank of algae that would be fueling. Forest from Darwin's Game anime. Let me take a look at that. What's that do? He can control and create plants, makes armor, spears, shields. Ooh. He destroyed a building by having plants destroy the foundation. As plants can break through concrete. Yes, they can. But even in a more primitive sense, you could just have warriors that wear plants that shoot out spores or needles. Really competent warriors take good care of their plants. Ooh. Ooh, aren't there plants that launch needles? Is that a thing? I know plants have needles. Are there plants? Let me see. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Jumping call. What is this? Third season as a spore grower, she can grow spores on anything, including inside her opponent's lungs. Okay. The cactus that shoots needles. What? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's kind of creepy. Hmm. Yeah, something like a needle gun. Or, so that's not, that doesn't shoot needles, it just grabs onto things that walk past. Okay, so that doesn't actually shoot the needles, they just... It just easily detaches, so if you walk past it, it's really easy. Or strong winds can blow them off, and then they latch onto things. Okay. Ooh, that would be really good Nekomaji. Oh, so the big thing I'm thinking about is since it's gonna be focusing on airships, right? What's a traditional weapon for airship? Gotta be the cannon, right? Um, so I'm trying to come up with an idea for something that launches a cannonball. Except the cannonball would be like made of stone or something. Then again, the cannonball could just be a wad of like spikes or something. Group of people in nature punk setting that have more twisted methods is pretty natural option. People that use poisons and spores and such. Yes, that's also good. Ooh, could make a tree cannon. So like in the basement where I have my computer set up, there is one single fly that is just flying around bugging me so much. Why not use the spore drive? Because we're not like, that's dipping into like the magic fantasy side of things. And we're not going there right now. Star Trek science babbles, it so can you. Witch hazel, let me take a look at that. What is this? Looks like it's a medicinal. Is there something special about the plant, Okusen? Is steampunk a human-plant interface is not that far-fetched. That's true. For biotech, how about vines and wires that grow from the ship itself to create giant slingshots? Ooh, that's a good idea. Could completely. I might be completely overthinking this. Or maybe instead of like slingshots, could do like. Yeah, slingshots are a great idea. Sometimes the simplest idea is the best. Witch hazel projectiles? Yes. All right. Witch hazel projectiles? What in the world? What? Hold on. Hold on, Okusen. You're over here saying that you're running out of ideas. You don't have the mental focus, and you literally find exactly what we're looking for. The plant, long known for its anti-inflammatory fire, it sees more than 12 meters per second with the force of a bullet fired from a 19th century gun. With how the remarkable trail grows, hazard fuzzy fruit that ripens about a year after the plant is pollinated. Using MRI scans, discovered that when the plant is ready to release its seeds, the outer layer of the fruit shrinks, while the fleshing inner portion both shrinks and expands. This constricts the middle of the fruit, forcing the seeds to pop out with an audible crack. The seeds feature a ridge that pushes against the inner fruit chamber as they're fired, causing them to spin nearly. The spin stabilizes the seeds as they become projectiles, much like bullets and rifles. These seeds have rifling? Yes, we found it. Okusen has found it. Witch hazel seeds. So then, oh my gosh, hold on. Wait, this just got better. Hold on. So it's a fruit, right? Hold on. Can I find a video of this? No, I don't want to watch. I don't want to get like TOS stuff for watching videos on stream, but like if it's a fruit that literally constricts as the inside expands and then the rifles and launches the projectiles out, that could be like a grenade. Oh, really? Because I would be streaming someone else's content. That could be a copyright claim for streaming someone else's content. And you're right, I could do something like this, but... So, the projectiles are giant seeds. Okay. Yeah, so it has a real life foundation. I just need something to work with here. Shooting seeds by expanding their inside and constricting their outside, firing the seed. Yes. Different sizes. Plants grow differently depending on the world. In ancient times, the plants were massive. Yes. So there's no reason why we couldn't have a massive seed-throwing plant that could be used like a ship cannon. I like that idea a lot better just because there's an actual natural thing for it. So I think we're going to go with that. Their weapons are made of plants that fire their seeds. So it's a specially grown plant that whenever you pull the trigger, the inside expands, the outside contracts, and the pressure causes the seed to come out with a spin on it, firing like a projectile. And there would still be like spears and sabers, but all the weapons would be made of wood because it's plant. It's all plant-based. That's interesting. Except, ooh. Oh, we're over here talking about plant-based tech, and Silva's talking about marinade. Silva's in a whole different world. Ooh, okay. And that's another thing. Like, this story and this setting can be huge, right? And I guess that's also an interesting thing about this story, right? Is this story takes place at the end of humanity's story in this era, right? But this setting could be used for any number of stories that take place before this. Pangea was a huge continent. I still don't know what we're going to call the continent. I still don't know what we're going to call it. Definitely not Pangea, because that would give it away too much. Yeah. There's so many stories that could be set in this plant-based world. A world that evolved without fossil fuels. That they did at one point create trash and pollutants of some kind, but they have reached the point that they have processed all of those out, so none of those are left. Create other kingdoms that use other plant tech, not just this one specific ballistic type. Ooh, that's also true. Some people let fungus grow inside them to create spores to poison their enemies with. That's another idea. Different nations with different tech. The ballistic based tech. Okay. You got something, Silva? And there's one, usually differing places have different beliefs and ways to use something, even something like a plant, biological implant. You can do the whole cyberpunk thing, but it's just people with infections. Oh, Okusen, I hadn't even thought about that. You know what this means? We're making a new punk genre. A lot of animals used in the bug surgery in Terraform Mars had higher powers. Explain. I think it's... Horror game with that. Ooh. That's true. Some people let plants grow inside them to reinforce their body. Infection fungus turning people into monsters. Ooh. But like, imagine someone where they have like a tree, a small tree branch sprouting out of where their arm socket that they could use like an arm. It's like got all of these different branches intertwined together to make a plant-based like tree. Would you kindly consider an incredible understanding of fauna of their own world being able to recreate using naturally occurring compounds for weaponry? Ooh, yeah. Because it is a thing for sunflowers and other plants to have organs that will expand and contract. Not organs, I can't remember what they're called, but they're parts of the plant that will expand or contract like muscles in order to adjust the facing of the plant in order to keep the plant facing the sun at all times. So something like that could be used to make plant-based muscle fibers. Ooh. They could. That could be their information tech. Hmm. Or, because I can't figure out how to make Wi-Fi work in this system, um, we could just say that like they have some like tree roots connect their entire world, and they have special information plants that they connect to certain trees. So then their tree roots become like telephone poles, like telephone wires. There we go, a fungal mycelial network. Yes. Hmm. I can do Wi-Fi? Tell me. Fungal networks. Okay. Morse code with a tree. Plants give off, it's not a pheromone, but I can't think of a better word. Plant pheromones. Okay. Grass warning scent. Let's take a look, team. The reason used when identified as plants with signaling distress. So they release smells that carry their signals. Okay. As long as it has some kind of one of the hallmarks of science fiction is that you start with something that is science and then you build it into fiction. Yeah. We'll say that they have special plants that store data on a cellular level. Geez, this started as kind of a crazy random prompt, and it's become uh it's got, you guys have helped so much. Now I actually have to write this. This isn't just a random project anymore. Ah. Ooh, that's not bad. Work on it and work on it well enough, and maybe you could get it. We'll see. We're making a new punk here, people. Plant punk. it it's funny because like for all of like the love and care that you could pour into developing this plant punk, it almost feels like a shame that the first story I'm writing in this world is the end of the world. You never know. Maybe I'll make this into like a multi-book series, and the whole reveal about it actually being Pangea will be in the final book. Yes, carefully skirting the line between science fiction and fantasy. Because if I go fantasy, nothing has to make sense. Nothing has to be logical. I can make it do whatever I want it to do. But I want it to be sci-fi because I have a passion for sci-fi. Yeah, it really is. And that's also one of the reasons why I wanted to bring you all in on this, because I feel like you all have some really great ideas. I'm very lucky to have surrounded myself with so many very creative people. Um, Come up with, yeah. Yes, one can bleed into the other, but I'm very lucky to have surrounded myself with some very creative people who just come up with some great ideas, and I definitely want to take advantage, or not take advantage. I want to make the most of that by sharing that with other people. Yes. Definitely pick the brain. That's a better phrasing for it. All right. So there's two things we haven't touched on yet. Government observation and airships. Airships, we were kind of leaning towards. Wooden ships, what do you think? Like with wings? Or maybe maybe like blimps? Say that they were able to use specially controlled special plants in order to produce helium or hydrogen. Final Fantasy airships, let's take a look. See what we got. So my idea I'm working with, right? Because so the development of ships came because using wind and water to transport things lets you do a lot of work very easily, a lot easier than transporting it on land where you would have to have animals pulling everything, right? So as a way to transport lots of cargo, ships became the go-to tool. But in a world where there's only one continent and there is no oceans connecting any parts of the world, trying to get goods from one region to another becomes harder. Like, you don't have these big rivers, you don't have these big river systems, you don't have these oceans, so you can't, like, if you want to sail around, you'd have to sail around not just one continent but a supercontinent. Slow moving, yes. I love that we're making this a term, plant punk. Mm-hmm. Well, I know that there's like the cotton thingies. Could have the airship. Floral punk. Laputa. Let's take a look at this Laputa. Oh. A giant flying plant. Okay. Okay. Said Final Fantasy 14, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay. Let's take a look at the Final Fantasy 14 airship. Actually, let's take a look at this on the Final Fantasy wiki. This is just about the game. Yes, the great Miyazaki. Okay. Have ways to accelerate plant growth. What if engineering a ship meant constructing the elaborate garden setup that would eventually? Ooh. So then the ship, because so one of the technologies I want them to have for construction is that that they can grow buildings. They can plant a special tree, accelerate its growth, and the tree grows into a building. That's one of the technologies I want to talk about them having is a way to accelerate the plant growth, so they just plant it. Yes, fast plant growth tech. That is a must for this world. Some kind of mastery of plants that they make plants grow super fast. Yes, a house seed. And that's one of the ideas of the halcyon days, the idyllic period of time that humanity was in before the rise of I think they did. Before the rise of the current regime, was that if you needed something, you could just get a plant and grow a building. Interesting. Well, okay, so um my idea is that the facilities. Okay, Silva. Um, my idea is that the house seed plants used to be very plentiful because they were the facilities to produce them, and the gardens used to grow them were run by the community. But when the new regime took over, they burned down a lot of those gardens. They destroyed a lot of those gardens in order to create scarcity to inspire new technology. Because if everyone could get a house for free, then nobody has to come up with any new way to develop buildings. Right. Well, I mean, I feel like this isn't technically a get out of jail free card because the entire premise of the story is that during the golden age of humanity, people could just do this. People had all of the resources to do this easily and quickly, and uh there was lots of food and resources to go around. Maybe the tech. Oh, maybe. Oh, I just had a thought. I just had a thought. I just had a brainwave. I had a brainwave. I had a brainwave. I had a brainwave. I have a brainwave. Uh, okay. All right. I had to write that down before I forgot it. So, what if? Because the idea then becomes, what does the big bad government do? What does the big bad government do that makes them big and bad? And the idea here is that everybody had everything no one wanted for anything. But then the government came and decided to make people want for stuff in order to inspire humanity to develop new technology so that way they could profit from it and have even more because they wanted more than what everybody else had. So what if whatever this plant growth acceleration technology, whether it be radiation, whether it be special fertilizer, whether it be whatever it is, it's something that can only be produced by specific facilities. And these facilities were public access, so they were run by the government previously. It was something that everybody had access to. Since everybody had access to it, it was run by the government. So now, when this big bad government moves in, they decide to restrict access to whatever that miracle grow, that special radiation, that special plant pheromones, whatever it is, they restrict access to it. So now, all of a sudden, people have to try to produce that on the side. There's underground organizations that are producing this miracle grow or their own versions of it, but it's restricted. And then that's their form of rebellion. What do you think? So it could be like some kind of special fertilizer. Ooh. Yeah, I've been so focused on the world, I guess I haven't really stopped to think about the main character. Um, the only thing the prompt gave me was that he was careful. And the ideas I want to have is that well, I don't know if it's gonna be a he or she or what the main character is gonna be right now. Right now it's a they. Um, and the idea is that they're going to be extremely tactical and intelligent. Um, mhm. I'm kind of new to it myself. It's kind of a new experience for me. One of the core aspects of punk, from what I've seen, is this resistance to authority and doing what needs to be done. Um, oh, let me. Hmm. Okay. I have to reach out. I have a friend of mine who knows a lot of stuff about punk, so I might have to reach out to a friend of mine to see if they can give me more of a tutorial on what it means to be punk. Oh, really? What's your favorite cyberpunkish show? Hmm. It's called Burn Up Excess, a bunch of police officer characters who are also crime fighters. Very unique tech, but what makes it great is specifically one feature. What's that feature, Nekomaji? On the DVD, there is a unique setting in the special feature, a jiggle. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious, Nekomaji. Yes, it would. Those Gynax physics. Main character's name, same name I use on Discord. Okay. Ironically, not from Gynax. That's funny. All right, so I was just typing up an idea because my brain went a certain way. It took an idea and it ran with it, okay? So, the one supernatural conceit, I guess we have in this setting, is that they have some kind of special fertilizer that allows plants to grow at an extremely accelerated rate and facilitates all their technology for growing all their buildings, growing their tech, growing their airships, all of that stuff. Because if everything's biodegradable, that means everything dies eventually and everything has to get replaced at some point, right? So if in the previous regime, everyone had a regulated allotment of fertilizer that they could use for always being able to grow replacements, so they never went without anything. They always had food, they always had shelter, they always had clothing, right? Because they could always grow replacements for whatever degraded over time. And everybody lived comfortable lives. But then the new government regime, in their ideas for rationing, they claim that they will give everyone less in order to have more fertilizer available for research, in order to develop new technologies to push humanity forward. But in reality, instead of that fertilizer going towards research for the betterment of humanity, that fertilizer instead goes towards the elite, those with government connections, in order to create a ruling class that gets to live their lives in the lap of luxury. That's just where my brain went. Yes, Nakomaji, exactly like that. I don't know. I'm feeling pretty good right now. Normally I would end stream right about here. Let me write down this idea. I think things are flowing pretty well, and people seem to be going. How late do you all think you could go? Oh, you're here until I leave? Okay, Nekomaji. Endurance stream. Ready, set, go. Oh, okay, Nekomaji. Needs to do a gorilla stream and go as long as possible. Yes. Ah. Oh my gosh, that's gonna be Nekomaji's entire shtick is going to be nothing but endurance streams. Okay. Most of it went to those with government connections. I get online when I feel like and get off when I feel like. They're usually the first to say hi in the message. Yeah, that sounds like Silva. But realistically, I might go till 11 tonight. It's like 10, I'm coming up on 10:40 now, so I might go another 20 minutes. Because realistically, if I ended stream, I would just be working on this story anyway. Okay, Nekomaji, what is your question that is not story related? What did you think of Sinful Gear about Best Girl? I'm so we started watching Sinful Gear. We're like, I think we're like a little over halfway through the first season. I like Chris's song in Sinful Gear. I feel like Chris's, like, everyone's song is usually like, I honestly really would love to get like a Sinful Gear original soundtrack. Like if I could get a soundtrack of the songs they sing, I think that would be really epic. Yes, her armor purge is good. I'm wondering, does she ever go back to using the whips, or does she always just use the heavy arm setup? The whip was for, I mean, does she ever go back to that silver armor? Is what I'm wondering. Oh, okay. I thought it would be interesting if she was just juggling between two different relics that she could use for different things. If she used the whip for enemies that were close range, but then if enemies started trying to make distance with her in order to get out of the range of her whips, she would just cast off and start using the guns. Yeah, I kind of got that, but I thought it was interesting that like the silver armor seemed to like consume her body as it tried to repair itself. Whenever she took damage, it was just like eating her. Okay, so everybody else I can follow their attack names. Her attack names flash by so fast, I have no idea what the names of any of her attacks are. Billion Maiden is one of her most iconic, just her guns. Okay. Mega Death Party. Oh, okay, Silva. Something like that. Oh geez, what is this debate? I've only seen partway through season 1, so I don't know how much weight my opinion is going to have on this debate, Nekomashi. Oh. That question. So, here's the thing, Silva. There doesn't have to be. Like, the two of them are very close. And they aren't in any kind of declared relationship besides being close best friends, and people can be physically affectionate with people they're close to. That's not something, like, one of the things that frustrates me. I'm gonna get on a soapbox here. All right, I'm gonna get on a soapbox here. As someone who lives a touch-starved life, one of the things that frustrates me about modern society is that we have this expectation that if anyone is physically affectionate with someone else, that they must be in a romantic relationship. And that frustrates me to no end. And seeing these two characters that have not expressed a romantic interest in each other, they've just expressed that they care about each other. But they are physically affectionate towards each other in, like, cuddling or spending time together, or just being comfortable within their own skin with each other, especially because they're both extremely young. I would honestly lean towards calling them, yeah, Okusen, stuff like that. Yeah, I can see that. I think until someone declares that they are in a relationship together with each other, I don't like the idea of asserting that two people are in a relationship that have never declared that they are in a relationship, because a relationship isn't something that just happens. A relationship is an intentional decision and declaration between two people, or more people, two or more people, multiple people. So a relationship is an intentional declaration between multiple people that they are committing to each other in some way, shape, or form. And until that commitment has been made, until they have not had that kind of a declaration, it actually kind of makes me uncomfortable and is a little bit cringy to me to try to assert that there is yeah, okay, so like that whole thing of sleeping in the same bed, saying you're my sunshine and so much more. Best friends do that. Like me, I share a bed with one of my friends. Like that just happens all the time. Now, that's just a part of the reality of where I'm living at the moment. Um, but like that doesn't make it anything more than that. Um, oh, and your stand. Okay. Um, but I really don't like asserting that the two of them are in love with each other when they haven't made a declaration or a statement of intention beyond the fact that they want to be together. They want to be together in some way, shape, or form. They haven't declared a commitment towards each other. They haven't declared what it is. So I don't want to call it anything. I'll just call it them being best friends. Really close best friends. All right, now I'll get off my soapbox there. Um, okay, Nekomaji, that feels like a bit much. Okay, Nekomaji, you do that. All right. I want to pick your brain about this last thing, which is kind of important in these last 10 minutes before I end stream. Okay, Silva. The last thing we haven't touched on yet. Government observation. What kind of plant-based tech would there be for building some kind of camera or detection system that could be used as part of a totalitarian government's observation and information network? We did talk about tree roots, and fungal networks, but that covers everything up till the actual cameras. Bugs could work. That could be, ooh, that could be a thing where they actually have insects that interface with the plants. Hmm. Plants with cameras. Hmm. Uh, Thermal imagery. I like the one that doesn't have a way to actually transmit video, but that they can recreate images using heat maps and other types of mapping like images. Ooh. Ooh, that's different. Hmm. That's true. Infrared. That could definitely be a thing. Yeah, that's true. Ooh, that's good. Hmm. Hmm. All right, those are some really good ideas. I think we got a lot of great ideas tonight. I want to say thank you to everyone, Nekomaji, Silva, Okusen, anyone else who was lurking quietly as well, for coming along on this adventure with me. Tonight's been a really productive night, honestly. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's also true. I'll make that on my notes. Okay. I've added that to my notes, Okusen. But yeah, I want to say thank you for coming along. Who knows? Halcyon Avenging might end up being a short story, or it might turn into a whole book series. Who knows? Right now, like Silva suggested, I'm just gonna work on it, tick around on it. I'll probably do a few more streams where I show off my progress or whatever on it, and we pick apart some ideas. Tonight was definitely a lot about setting up the world. I think if we do this again, next stream is going to be focusing on the characters and brainstorming ideas for the characters. I think we have the world really well set up. And now we just have to build the characters that exist in this world. It's like building an NPC, but more complicated, right? We'll see. I'll see. I might do it on Monday. We'll see how my schedule's looking, how things are going. Everything's so crazy for me right now, and things are just barely starting to calm down. Um, but yeah, I want to say thank you to all of you for coming along and for making tonight amazing. I hope you all had fun. Like, this was fun for me, and I hope that this was fun for you. It was kind of a risk because I didn't know how people would enjoy it, because it's not your normal average streamer content. We weren't playing any games, we were just goofing around with stories. Ooh, okay, wait, hold on. I'm copying that. I don't know what I'll do with it. Oh, you got something better, Silva? Stupid long names that explains too much, sometimes shortened for manga. Yeah, that's true. That time I got reincarnated into a plant punk world and became a legendary pilot to restore the post-apocalyptic world I woke up in. Hold on. Hold on. I never agreed to make this an isekai. Okay, see, now that's got my brain turning. So what if someone died in our world, got reincarnated, they thought they were in some other world, but then they find out that they're only in the far past? Okay, but the thing is, isekai has had its run. I mean, I'm gonna copy down the name, don't get me wrong, because I always like to take all ideas that I can find. What would make it funny? Yes, Nekobachi. But what would make it funny is that, yeah, some isekais are just people going back in time, but this would be an isekai where the main character loses, which I don't think, like, you don't see that in a lot of isekai with, like, the main character actually failing to defeat the Demon King or whatever. And that is not negotiable. The main character has to lose in this story. That is a key crux of the story. Right. Exactly, Okusen, exactly. That's also true. Is that the name of an actual anime, Okusen, or light novel? Oh, really? That's true, Nekomaji. I'll be reincarnated as a witch hazel. Don't even joke, Nekomaji. I'm not ready to be reincarnated. I'm not ready! I don't know. Being a plant sounds kind of horrible. Alright, like... I don't even know how to feel about the vending machine isekai. Because, like, I heard it was kind of meh. But then it's getting an anime. So why are we giving animes to meh light novels? I saw one commenter talk about how in Japan, because of their like toxic work culture and just the aging population, Japan and also just the difficulty socializing in Japan, they as a society are suffering from some extreme depression and burnout, and isekai of any kind are just being gobbled up as a escapist fantasy to not deal with all the societal problems that are plaguing them. Something like that. That's a bit dark, Okusen. That's really dark. See, I don't... So, I'm not sure if you intended that, but talking about destroying wrists could also be a not aliving yourself reference. That's just weird, Nekomaji. That just sounds bizarre. That's also true. That's also true, Nekomaji. Anyway. Anime is the unstoppable force. Speaking of anime, today is Friday, which means tomorrow is Saturday. Okusen, will you be available to come to anime night? Please tell me that's not an actual anime, Nekomaji. Ugh. So the title is, Are You Thirsty? Want a Juice Can? Oops, now it's a magical girl. So does the juice can become the magical girl? Or does drinking the juice can turn you into a magical girl? Aki-kan. Okay. So that doesn't answer the question. Does the juice can become the magical girl, or does drinking the juice can turn you into a magical girl? Okay, Okusen. Let me know, because we do want to continue some more Gundam Seed. Okay, so the juice can becomes the magical girl. All right, we are going to steer clear of that. That is... Oof. That is an oof. It's actually a fun anime. If you say so, Silva. But you don't breathe into sodas to make them fizzy. Okay. That's bizarre. Anyway, sorry, I got sidetracked there as we were talking about how bizarre anime can be. I want to say thank you to everyone for coming along tonight. Pull on their ear and turn them into cans. Gotta drink to revert. So you drink the can, and then after you empty the can, it... No. No. I am not delving deeper into this. We are not talking about the Magical Girl Can anime. I am not watching this Magical Girl Can anime. I refuse. Anyway. I want to say thank you to everyone who came. Thank you to Okusen. Thank you to Nekomaji. Thank you to Silva. Thank you to everyone who came, who was any silent viewers who just dropped by and watched. I want to say thank you to all of you for your contributions. You helped come up with a lot of great story ideas. I'll probably be up writing or something. If I come up with another draft, I'll probably have it up on Discord at some point in the next few days. We're planning to have an anime night tomorrow, so we'll be watching anime. Depends on if Okusen can make it. If Okusen can make it, we'll watch Gundam Seed. If Okusen can't make it, I want to watch more Macross. Like, I know Silva wants to watch a bunch more Okusen, why are you like this? Yeah. No Nekomaji. No Nekomaji. Bad. Listen, I love me some Gravion. But I am not watching Gravion on stream with you all. It is not remotely appropriate. All right. Anyway, thanks for watching. It's been a great stream. If you ever want to keep up with what I'm doing, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, ding the notification bell to get updates about when I go live. You can join the Discord or follow me on Twitter. Links to both of those are in the description. If you ever feel motivated to give to improve my life or improve the stream, there is donation links and Ko-fi links in the description as well. I hope you all have a wonderful night, and always remember, I love each and every one of you, and I believe in you. You are precious, you are valuable, and you are important. And always remember the motto, shoot for the stars, have wonderful adventures, live your dreams, and always, always, always stop to enjoy the memes. Have a good night, everybody. We're not talking about Gravion. Gravion is borderline hentai. I've had it for a while. I just always forget to use it at the end of stream. I've been working on improving my model. Don't do this, Okusen. Don't do this. No, bad spray bottle. I'm going now. I'm actually going now.